the Fresno Focus Radio Hour. This is the No Focus Radio Hour. Comedy and insight from the greatest minds in Fresno. A Lightomine Media production.
That's right. This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. Thank you for listening, and thank you for telling a friend. The No Focus Radio Hour is available anywhere podcasts can be found, including YouTube and your home smart speakers. Please remember to subscribe and leave a review. It helps others discover our show. While you are reviewing, keep in mind that 5 stars is the correct number of stars. If you enjoy our show, please share with your friends. But if you hate it, share it with your enemies. Check out our site, thenofocusradio.com, for exclusive content and to vote on Don's polls if he ever has them anymore. But you can do other things. You can get on our Discord server, a lot of cool stuff. Find us on social media. Our handle is @NoFocusRadio. Take it away!
And you know just what I got to do. Gonna hit the ground running, running to my favorite podcast. Gonna hit the ground running, heading to my favorite city, Fresno.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
That's right. You can get it on Apple Music for a limited time only.
Right. This is the No Focus Radio Hour, the #1 independent podcast in the Central Valley. It's made for those who live in the Central Valley, for those who miss the Central Valley, those who long to live in the Central Valley, and for those who
hate the month of June for various reasons in the Central Valley.
As always, we have our beautiful cast of characters. But actually, we have a special guest as well. But starting, we have, as always, we have Eric the Doorman.
Hey, Fresno, listen up, guys. I got a request. I'm sitting out here. We actually started the podcast here, and we had technical difficulties. And I will admit it, we had technical difficulties. We had a bad cord,
bad cable,
and we had to restart it. Here's the deal, folks. We need you to donate to our show. Let's get some equipment in here.
That's right.
We got to get some donations. We got to get some cup of coffees and all kinds of stuff going here.
Good point. Yeah, it's a good point. Because, we have a cable. It's a nice cable. It's a gold-plated cable.
Nice XLR cable.
Beautiful. And we do record live from a studio. Beautiful, air-conditioned, gorgeous studio.
Spared no amenities.
Yes. The problem here is, it's still very expensive. We have
equipment breaks down. Equipment breaks down.
AC. We live in California, guys. Our electrical bill is 500 times more than the national average.
That's true. We're going to talk about that. But here's the other thing, too, is that we're doing such a hot show. We just burn the equipment down because we want to give the best show to the audience out there, right?
Because unlike other podcasts out there that do maybe 1 a week, we do 2 a week.
I don't listen to other podcasts. This is the only podcast I listen to. It's the only one worth listening to.
I think this is the only one in the Valley. That's why we're #1, right?
There's this one and then Pardon the Intermission. Those are the
I
only
heard of that.
two.
The only 2. Yeah. And then I think there's some religious. But we're the top non-religious.
Top non-religious independent.
Anyway, folks, listen, you got to help us out. Let's get those cup of coffees rolling in out there.
Appreciate
Anyway,
that.
okay, we'll move it on.
We also have with us, you guys know him as Stupid Asso. We know him as Stupid Asso.
Hey, I hate that guy. Oh, wait, that's me. Yeah, I've been feeling really old lately because I've gravitated towards old things. So I got a manual typewriter.
I saw that.
Got it working. I love that thing. I've been writing myself all sorts of notes, writing little stories. It's been great. I fixed up an old AM radio, and so I've been listening to KMJ Ray Appleton.
Yeah.
Did you hear today, friend of the show?
Did you hear that cars are not coming with AM anymore? They're not putting AM radios in new cars?
Also, they decided to go back on that because a lot of the emergency frequencies are on AM.
Oh, so they did go back on that.
Do that.
You know what? Did you do what you did with the ashtrays with your kids as you gave them the typewriter and said, okay, show me how it works?
No, because I don't want them pounding on it because it took me hours to clean it and get it working again. Because I got it for $30 at Yoshi Now.
30, that's it?
Yeah, it was cheap.
It was really nice looking, Yeah. I like that, yeah.
If you ever find a Milton's Bradley Starbird, you know what a Starbird is?
No.
The Starbird. I'll show you the toy. If you ever find that thing out in one of the, grab it for me. I'll pay you back.
All right, cool.
And Yossi's, I'll give you a picture of it later. Yeah. And we also have Who do we have, Max?
Oh my goodness, we have with us. You guys know him as Jason.
And what do we know him as?
Jason.
Jason.
My name is Jason. You can call me Jason. My nickname is Jason.
You can call me Jay, or you can call me Jay.
The ladies call me Jazzy J. Some of them call me LL Cool J. The others just call me Love Man J.
Wow.
And you can tell by that.
Call me Jason.
You can tell by that smooth voice. This guy's a professional. He's actually been.
I'm feeling intimidated sitting.
I
next to-
was behind the microphone professionally for 15 years. So,
Wow, yeah.
He
Nice.
still is at Pardon the Intermission.
Yes.
Podcast?
Yeah, we do. We do a
Yes.
podcast and entertainment podcast. Pardon the intermission on all podcasting apps.
That's right, and you can follow. Well, we're not going to promote our show because we're on the No Focus Radio Hour, so we'll worry about that
that's
later.
fine.
But is
Yeah.
that okay?
Yeah, we're off. Of course, please.
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Well, then,
We're all a happy
by all
family.
means, for all of you
Go ahead.
listening out there, pardon the intermission, where Eric and I talk about entertainment, pop culture, and everything in between. You can
Yeah.
follow us on Facebook at Pardon the Intermission and on Twitter at PTI_podcast.
Podcast.
You don't
Yeah.
talk about how the world is dying all the time and how we're all going to be poor living in the streets. Because that's what we talk about here.
Well,
Honestly,
we talk
Marty-
about movies. We talk about
Yeah.
movies that show the world
Yeah,
dying.
I mean,
and
sometimes we have some
apocalyptic movies.
intertwining segments that theme in with that, Marty, but not all the time, though. So, yeah.
Depressing.
We mostly talk about how Disney sucks now and
Yeah.
Star
Pretty
Wars
much.
sucks. And
Yeah, Disney keeps us hot on our toes. Thank you, Bob Iger. We appreciate all
Yeah.
the headlines.
Yeah.
and also, hey, but
Behind
we also have the man who
board.
does not have a microphone that works half the time.
Right. I give all the good microphones to my fellow cast members.
That's because you're so good, you don't need a good mic.
You know why? I don't need a microphone because I speak so loud. Because I control the volume. That didn't make any sense.
Like
By the
Johnny
name-
Knobs.
Yeah, his name is Johnny Knobs,
Didn't
by
make
the way,
any
folks.
sense.
You didn't do a chat GPT
I didn't
introduction this
prep
time?
for it.
You didn't prep for this
I
one?
didn't have one. Usually, so for about 2 years, I would always come up, top of my mind to come up with them. And they started getting really, really bad. So then I thought I'm going to use some chat.
I thought creative.
GPT.
I thought they were great.
And then those started getting really, really bad. So now I have to think of something else.
When they started talking about corn on the cob, I think it was
Yeah,
going
there's
a little.
lot of calm, yeah.
But you were recognized in the wild, weren't you?
This is a true story.
What
I was going to
happened?
talk about this. This
Oh,
is kind
do
of
it.
part of our news segment. It's not a news segment. It's an old segment, but we're doing it again. It's called "What's New with You."
I don't know. What's new with you?
So this last weekend,
Yes.
my wife was like, "Hey, we should go out to Clovis Junk Days."
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's like,
Is that the one you have to pay for, though, to get into the
That's
rodeo?
what I thought too. That's what I thought.
But
it
their
was.
junk is amazingly priced. It's like high class junk.
The one at the rodeo, right?
Is
But
it worth it,
It
though?
wasn't that though. That's called something else.
It's called We Want Your Money.
That's called a flea market, right? That's
Yeah,
like
Clovis
something.
Flea Market. Thank you.
Clovis Flea Market, yeah.
What this one is, it's like as if you were going to the Clovis, like a big hat days, if you will,
Okay.
or the farmer's market, except all of the booths are it's like a yard sale.
But it's in the rodeo grounds, right?
No, it's just on Pulaski.
Oh, it was on Pulaski.
yeah, it's like going to the.
So they close down the
okay.
street and let
Yeah.
you roam
So
around
it was
and look
pretty
at stuff.
cool. There was just like maybe, I don't know, 100, 200 people with booths selling everything from records to dolls to old movie posters to tools to just everything. Everything you'd
See, I'm jealous.
find
I would have went. I thought it was in. First
Right?
of all, I just thought I thought they said it was going to be in the rodeo grounds. So I thought, oh, that's the one you got to pay for. So I'm not going to go to that one.
Yeah,
But-
no, it
so
was
cheap.
pretty cool.
I am cheap.
Yeah.
Alright.
So
So you're in there. You're looking at some glorious items.
yeah. So I'm actually not even there. I'm showing up. I'm walking down the street.
Yeah.
And I hear somebody say, oh, "Is that Johnny Knobs?"
No
Oh
way.
my God.
No.
And I'm like, "Oh my goodness!"
Nice.
I turn, and you know who it is? Porch Pirate Joe.
Oh, the one
yeah.
who did all the interviews.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Porch Pirate Joe.
So Porch Pirate Joe spotted
Okay.
me, and it's crazy. Baby Knobs and Baby Pirate Joe saw each other for the
Uh-oh.
first time.
Oh, nice.
That was pretty cool. And I had just received our new no focus magnets, and I was slapping them all over downtown. And so I said,
Ah,
I mean,
yeah.
somebody, I wasn't slapping, somebody,
Yeah,
I saw
somebody
them.
put 'em.
Somebody had put them up on the,
you saw them all over. Yeah.
on the poles. I was taking them down because I'm like, don't litter. You know,
You can't do that. No.
that's terrible. So I was
Well, you can't take them down because maybe they wanted them there.
That's right. I wasn't taking
can't
them down.
touch 'em. You can't even touch
I don't
'em.
even. I just saw them, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh!" And so, and then I found one on the floor, and I gave it to Porch Pirate Joe.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of cool though. So
Yeah.
I messaged Marty. I said, "Marty, you should come out here. There's a lot of cool stuff." Because it was very much like the first booth I walked by was old, like just like weird doll type things and movie posters and like eyeballs of things, just like weird things.
Wow.
that I
Stuff
thought-
I enjoy, yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is like Marty's." The
Yeah.
rest of the booths, nah, maybe not so much.
Yeah, but I happen to be in Morro Bay It's going to the swap meet there in San Luis Obispo.
Oh, how was that?
It was good. It was really good. We got a lot of interesting things.
Okay.
At the swap meet there. So are they pretty much are they higher level than Clovis swap meets?
Well, Clovis doesn't have a regular swap meet anymore.
Well, that's true. They don't have swap meet, but
We
I
have
mean
the Cherry Avenue auction.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Cherry
that's
Avenue is
true.
different,
and
though.
also the one at the fairgrounds that's in Fresno. But
I should say like Glorious Junk Days type stuff.
It's basically like the old school one that they used to have over at the theater, Sunnyside.
Yeah.
In the old movie theater, because this one's in an old movie theater.
Drive-in.
So it's kind of like the way it used to be when the drive-in was still there and used to go there. So it's kind of a nice swap meet. It costs like $1 to get in.
Oh,
so I don't know.
nothing.
Maybe it's larger than what you want to pay.
Yeah, 99 cents I could do. I don't know, $1.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I may
upset
pass
that
on
the Sunnyside swap meet shut down.
Yeah, me too.
That's actually really a bummer.
Because they were using the land for Amazon.
Is it
was
it's
taking
because
it
of
over.
Amazon?
Oh
right?
no, they put a warehouse there.
They're going
to
to.
buy a bunch of more Amazon junk.
Yeah. So
I
they-
think what Amazon should do is reopen that drive-in movie theater. That would be sweet.
Yeah. that'd be
Have
cool.
an Amazon drive-in
So you
movie?
could go to the theater and
They
pick
can
up your
watch Prime,
package.
as I say.
Prime Video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You show instead of them delivering, they say,
a good
"Hey,
idea.
show up.
Yeah.
That's a good
We'll
idea.
load your car with your stuff, and you get to watch free movies from Prime."
Yeah, perfect.
I'd
like
go there.
that.
Yeah.
Go
But
there
you
all
got to
the
have a
time.
Prime membership to do
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And no
that.
password sharing either, damn it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's what I
No
would
password
do.
sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
So what else is new? What else is new with you guys since last week? Last we spoke, the doorman had a little Lucy here, doorman Junior.
Yeah, she's doing good.
Yeah.
She wanted me to tell you now. Lucy's not her favorite show anymore. She's right now. She's into Fuller House.
Oh, not even the original, huh?
No, Full House. I go. We got to get you watching the original here, but
Did she
Right.
watch the original, or does she just?
she
jump
hasn't
right-
watched. No,
Interesting.
Hasn't
Jumping
watched the
right into
original
Fuller,
yet. But I don't know how she got onto Fuller House. I think it was one of those click things, right?
You got to
know,
watch
so-
your kid more if she's watching junk like that.
I
Come on.
know.
Yeah.
Fuller House.
Fuller
And I feel
House.
bad because Danny Tanner can't be on there anymore. Because they would have them actually. I've seen some of the episodes now, kind of from
Yeah.
the periphery, and they're like always on there.
Right.
John Stamos and the other guy that used to date what's her face, the music girl.
Very specific. Yeah,
What-
what's her
what's the-
face, the music girl? You know,
What's the one that
Rebecca
says?
Romaine?
No,
Pat Benatar? I don't know.
No, the one.
Benatar.
Yeah, I'm an old guy.
That explains
Alanis
the pants.
Morissette, the one that dated Alanis Morissette. Goulier, what's his name?
Oh, Dave Coulier.
Dave Coulier, yeah,
Dave
him and.
Coulier.
Oh, they have Dave Coulier was on it.
Yeah, he's on
Yeah.
there. He's he always does it. Cut it out. Remember that he would
Yeah,
always do on the
yeah.
old show. He always done
Cut it out.
Yeah, does it on
Yeah,
the new
right.
one. And then they had what's his face, Danny Tanner on there. What's his name? I can't remember.
Bob Saget.
Bob Saget.
Saget, yeah.
I love Bob Saget.
Rest in
He's
peace, Bob.
funny.
Bob
Rest in peace.
Saget.
His stand-up was hilarious.
He can't
He's
do
a
it
dirty
anymore.
old man.
so.
Yep.
But anyway, no, we went and saw Guardians 3.
How was it?
Oh, how was it?
It was really good. Actually, yeah, Jason's seen it too. Yeah, I'll do. Jason's done his review on the other one. Well,
Yes.
I'll do my review on it this time around.
Fair
but
enough.
I gotta say, it was really good. It
Yeah?
was really good. Yeah.
Okay.
It was worth it. It's long, but it's definitely worth it. It's like, oh man, it's like emotional thing all the way through.
It's the last one, right?
Yes, it is the
They
last.
all-
It is the
they-
last
they
one.
all die.
They do say in the end, Star-Lord will return, but without James Gunn, I don't think it would ever be the same.
Yeah, since James Gunn is the head of DC now, that's going to be kind of hard for him to make another movie for Marvel. Just saying.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's moved
so
on.
I don't.
Yeah, now we know that there's going to be 2 other Avengers movies coming out within the next 5 to 10 years. So it's possible we might see Star-Lord in one of those subsequent Avengers films.
Yeah.
But as far as
It won't be
James-
the same.
Yeah, it
Making
won't be the
two
same.
more
Yeah.
Avengers movies.
Yeah, so
with the new people, all the new people that nobody knows about.
Yeah, so the next one coming out is going to be called Avengers Kang Dynasty, and that one's just going to feature Kang the Conqueror
Wow.
as the primary baddie. But since Jonathan Majors
Yeah.
couldn't keep his hands to himself, they're looking at replacing him as
so
Kang.
hard,
so
though.
it must be.
It is.
Yeah, it must be.
Sorry, Eric. I didn't mean to touch you.
That's okay. Yeah. What's going on over here?
So, is it going to be all the people from like the shows? Is like who's left of the movie? Like, they're not.
It's
bringing,
gonna be like
Iron
She-Hulk.
Man's gone.
Yeah.
It's going to
Spider
be
Man's
Miss
gone.
Marvel, and She-Hulk. It's
Right?
it's the MCU now.
It's got to be right. It's going to be like
It's
Miss
all-
Marvel.
yeah.
Who else?
Miss Marvel, the She-Hulk.
Oh, isn't there
what
two
else is
Miss
there?
Marvels though?
Well, there's the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel, and then you have Captain Marvel, and so yeah, there's
And then you
multiple.
have Rambo. What's her name?
And then Monica Rambeau.
Monica
who's
Rambeau's
also-
another one.
Wait, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. So time out. You just
Yeah.
said 3
And you got
people?
Maxim's
Wanda,
overwhelmed.
but she's
And
not a Marvel.
One of them was our vice president. That's what I just something.
Yeah, Kamala. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kamala.
it's easy to get that
Kamala
mistake. I can see
Khan.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not Kamala Harris.
Gotcha. Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Someone else is named Kamala.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that popular.
Yeah,
Man.
it's a common name.
Yeah,
Really?
It's a very common
I think
name.
so.
Yeah. You,
And it's
don't
spelled
know
the same.
many Kamalas?
I don't know any.
Oh, they're all over the
We
place.
were going to name our daughter Kamala, but we
That would've been
decided.
That's so.
So
You know, if we had a daughter, we were going to name her Kamala as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I almost named my dog Kamala.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Right?
Good night, everybody.
I might change my name officially to Kamala.
Yeah.
Kamala Oram. I like that. I like that.
So I don't know. We'll see. We went to movies. That's about it, I think, for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
Marty, you go ahead.
I'm trying to think. What are we talking about?
What's new?
what are we
What's
doing?
new?
Went to the beach. It was fantastic. Had a great time. That was a lot of fun.
You live over there now. We can't
Just
even get you
about.
back.
I walked my son on a 4-mile hike. He almost died.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that difficult.
Was it a beach hike, like on the sand?
No.
No.
No, it wasn't that
the
difficult.
normal
It
one.
was, I even bought him boba at the end of it, but he was still dying.
Oh, you
He
bought
was
him
choked-
Bulba.
He didn't die from the hike. He was choking on the boba.
Choking on the boba, yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know how to save him.
Easy
So.
to see why.
You're like, suck it up, be a man.
Right.
Quit choking.
Don't be a girly man. Drink your boba.
Yeah. So okay.
Other than that, I'm not doing much. Just,
Nice.
rejecting all of technology and
There you go.
doing a lot of old school things.
I like that. I'm a big fan of that. I like
Rejecting technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to get rid of technology myself.
It's hard, but it's
It's
fun.
hard, especially for people who really like technology.
Oh, yeah.
So I like what Marty does. He just geeks out on old stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially when
yeah.
because a lot of these things have to repair. So you take it apart and you realize how it's put together. And it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
And then you learn more about it. So I took it to a part of GE radio, and then I had to take another one apart, and I got it apart in like no time at all. And you could buy these things for like $5. Like I bought a nice radio at the Slow Swap Meet.
Yeah.
It looked nasty. For $3, I fixed it up and cleaned it up and got it working again. And it's clock radio. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and remember, if you guys want to see the pictures of these things, you can go to nofocusradio.com. There's a link that says The Cast. Click on The Cast, and it says more about Stu, and it goes right to his
And you
Instagram.
can
Right to his
click into
IG
my-
page.
Yeah.
I did that one time. My wife bought an old brass clock, and it just looks cool, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And so I got it home, and I was like, so I stuck a battery in it, and of course it didn't work. I'm like, well, so I literally took the thing apart.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how clocks work. I just took it apart, and I was able to fix it. Something was just jammed. I was able to fix it, get it back together, and now it works great.
Yeah, and
so it's kind of fun doing
and
that.
it's neat because then it takes on a whole other presence in your life because it's something you fixed, you resurrected, you saved from the landfill.
Yeah.
So you put it up someplace proud, and you go, "Oh my God, I fixed this."
Well, my wife, I was thinking at the time, my wife overpaid for this because she paid in one of those antique shops and clothes. I was like, she overpaid for this thing. I got to get it to work because it's got to be worth something here. But no, it is true. You do. It's kind of cool. It's the skills getting lost. Nobody can fix anything anymore.
No,
Because it's all designed to be thrown away. It's planned obsolescence.
Yeah, number one, I was thinking in the future, the only jobs that are going to exist are going to be like a few handymen because everybody's going to be like, how do I fix anything?
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Just throw it
Good
away and
point.
get something. Get a new one.
They'll get a robot for that too.
It's true, actually.
So what about you, Jason? What's new? What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Oh man, May's been a busy month, a month of birthdays primarily.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
Celebrated my daughter's 13th birthday a couple of weekends ago, and
Yeah.
it's really, really, really important to me and my wife because we adopted our daughter. Had her since a couple of weeks after she was born, and we came about her rather quickly, which is also unconventional compared to what most adoptive parents have to go through to get their children when they're adopting. But
I know, because it was like you guys were just like, I think we're going to adopt it, and all of a sudden, hey, we have a daughter. It's like, wait, what?
It literally happened overnight, and I fell flat on my face because, wow. I mean, it's like most traditional parents, I say that in quotation marks, traditional parents have 9.5, months to prepare for the birth of their child. My wife and I, we literally had like 24 to 48 hours.
Oh my gosh.
The family was running around like
Yeah.
crazy, buying stuff, getting, they need this, they need that, they
So
need
wait,
this.
you've been, tell me the story. You've been trying to adopt for a while,
Yeah,
and
so-
then it just happens.
Yeah, so let me tell you how all of this came about. So my wife and I were unable to have kids of our own. And so we had talked about adoption for a number of years. But, I mean, we were semi-serious about it. And, we got into where we were in our mid-30s. And we both sat down one night and said, if we're going to do it, we better do it now. Because once we get into our 40s, we're not going to want to chase children around and change diapers and yada, yada, yada. So my wife
Like
at the
me.
time, like Eric, and he does it rather well, by the way. So my wife wife at the time was a postpartum nurse out at the now defunct Madera Community Hospital.
Okay.
And a very good friend of hers gave her a tip that our daughter's birth mother, I won't mention her name, was going to give our daughter up for adoption a couple of weeks, about a month before she was born. And my daughter's name is Annabelle, and her birth mother is originally from Mexico. She's not bilingual, not well educated, so it was hard to get a job for her.
Yeah.
She has 3 other kids that live down in Mexico, and she had decided to give up Annabelle for adoption because she just wanted her to have a better life. Okay. And she didn't want to live in the relative squalor and abject poverty that her other kids are living in Mexico.
Noble cause, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so when my wife's friend, who was a fellow nurse with her at the hospital, heard this, she said, you know what? We have 2 people that might be interested in her. So she told my wife about it. And then a week later, my wife comes up to me and says, you know what, Jason? Are you still serious about wanting to adopt a child? And I said, sure, I guess. Fill in the blanks here. Kind of fill me in a little bit.
Yeah.
So she told, what's the catch here, hon? So, so she told me, and a couple of weeks after that, Annabelle was born. And the reason why I say our adoption was unconventional is because whenever children are born, especially in the state of California, by law, when they are given up for adoption, they have to enter into the FOSADOPT, foster care / the system through social services. Well, unbeknownst to us at the time, that's not how our adoption went. My wife's friend acted as the main caregiver for Annabelle, placing her in the custody of 2 people whom they never knew. So essentially the way it happens is when a child is born, social services and is given up for adoption, social services goes down there, interviews all the parties involved, fills out all the paperwork, and then gets that child registered in the system so they can be placed for adoption. Yeah. Well, what my wife's friend did was essentially cut out the middleman, so to speak, and she directly placed Annabelle with us. Well, several months down the road, as we were going through the adoption process and paying all the money and processing all the red tape, lo and behold, we found out that what we did was just slightly illegal. But, oops. And then to compound the issue even more, even though Annabelle's birth mother signed off on parental rights, they could not find the birth father to get him to sign off on his parental rights because Annabelle's birth mother listed about 4 or 5 different men who could have potentially been Annabelle's father.
I wasn't on that list, was I?
No.
You didn't see a stupid ass on there?
Well, maybe. I'm not sure.
Let's just keep it
time.
between us.
Okay, we'll keep it between us. Well, off mic, Marty, off mic. So anyway, long story told short, the court made every single good faith effort to locate these 5 men that could have been her father. All the while, the court said, okay, you and your wife don't pose a risk to Annabelle, so we will let you keep her, but just know that if we find the birth father and we can't get him to sign off on the rights, you're going to have to surrender the child. Are you okay with that?
Oh,
right.
We had no choice. We had to say yes. So when the court determined that, and they spent, mind you, they spent over 1.5 years looking for these 5 guys who could have been her birth father. When the court determined that social services made a good faith effort to locate her birth father, they couldn't locate any of them. And so they finally said, okay, let's get the ball rolling on this. Let's move forward and finalize it. So lo and behold, it happened. So Annabelle was born on May 20th of 2010. Her adoption didn't become finalized and legal until August of 2011. And so that was when we went down to the courthouse, got everything signed. We went in front of the judge, gave our oaths and gave our testaments and our sworn statements. And the rest is history.
Well, I tell you that year, what was it, 1.5 years must have been. I mean, it was pretty nerve wracking. Right? I mean, just because you just never know, right? You get a letter or something from the agency. It's like, what is this? You know?
It was extremely nerve wracking, especially for my wife, because my wife always blamed herself for not being able to bear children. And there were several nights where she would come home from the hospital. Right. She would come home from the hospital sometimes in tears, asking me, Jason, why is it that God can allow some of these women who are drug addicts and who are violent offenders to have kids, but we can't have kids? And I honestly told her one time, I answered the question this way. I said, hun, if God has deemed it important for us not to have kids, but to be the caretaker of other people's kids, like babysitting nieces and nephews and family and friends' kids as well, then so be it. If it's just you and I, the rest of our lives, there are worse things.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Because you don't know the impact that you're going to make.
Right, exactly.
But I will say there's no way that Annabelle's not your guys' daughter. I mean, it's like you guys, I mean, there's no way now. It's not, you're not just taking care of her. You guys are her parents. She's your daughter. I mean,
literally.
It's amazing. You guys are amazing with her. So.
Yeah, but I just think about like that question, your wife in despair asked that question. Yeah. But it's like, if you were able to, then this wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
And,
Great way to look
You
at it.
wouldn't have Annabelle right now.
So yeah, that's how she came into our lives. She's been a blessing to all of our families, and so
great.
we
Yeah,
celebrated
she's
her.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
Annabelle,
is.
she's- yeah.
She is as sharp as a tack. She is active in everything from sports to co-curricular to arts and everything else. So
And you
that's
guys
great.
actually celebrate.
And-
You do celebrate her birthday, of course, and then you
Yes.
also celebrate the day that she was adopted. She was
That's right.
officially adopted.
We call it Gotcha Day. We call it Gotcha Day. So we celebrated her birthday a couple weeks ago. Then both my nieces' birthdays were last weekend because they were both born on the same day, exactly 1 year apart. So one of them was born May in 2020, the other one 2020, or not 2020. I'm sorry,
I was gonna say, well, that's pretty young.
2001. I'm sorry, my bad. So we celebrated a lot of birthdays, but I've also been doing a lot of work around my house, doing a lot of yard work, and I've also been going through a lot of stuff in my garage and looking at some of my old Star Trek and Star Wars collectibles that I still have, and so just deriving a lot of joy out of why I never sold those because they have a lot of sentimental value to me.
Yeah.
So, and in addition to that, reading a few good books and then streaming a few good movies here and there. So I've just been trying to relax as much as I can while working a lot at the same time.
Okay.
That brings up another. Yeah, I'll go into an eBay story in a second. But go ahead, Max. What about you? What have you been up to?
I've been doing yard work as well.
You listen to the podcast while you do yard work? Because apparently
Always.
it's a good thing to listen
Nice.
to.
Always. It's the only thing I do.
Either-
I actually only do yard work so I can listen to the podcast. That's the reason I do it.
You know, I'm getting bad about that. I really do. It's like I almost have headphones in all the time now.
Oh, yeah.
That's getting bad.
It's, your family doesn't even know you're
No,
there.
they'll be like talking. They're like, "Didn't you hear me?" And I'm like, "What?"
You're like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been busy with that Pardon the Intermission podcast as well. Sorry,
Yeah,
I left that
sure,
out.
yeah.
Sorry, compadre, I left that out.
Yeah, so just doing that sort of stuff. I was in
Yeah.
Chicago. I tell you guys, I was in
Oh yeah, yeah.
Chicago.
What was the Chicago deal?
Was the Chicago?
You didn't leave yet
Oh, yeah,
when
yeah,
we
when we did our
last shows.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so I was in Chicago for a week.
Is that place falling apart?
Yeah.
Is it pretty bad?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I don't know. In areas, absolutely. I mean, when you're at a conference, there's like 100,000 people.
Everything
all-
looks
Everything
nice
looks
and-
nice where you're at. I did take some time to walk into the South Side against everybody's advice.
And you survived.
I survived. But I like when I travel, I try to just, I don't want to go to like the random restaurant next to the giant convention center.
Like the local flavor.
I do. So I went walking into the South Side, and everybody's like, "Don't do it." I said, "I'm doing it anyway."
So I'm Lebanese, I do not care.
I'm Johnny Knobs.
Johnny Knobs.
So Max, I have a question to ask
yeah.
you. While on the South Side, did you go to this restaurant called Manny's, which serves food cafeteria style, and they have the best Reuben's sandwiches that you're ever going to
I
have?
did not. No.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
you missed it. You got to go back now.
Yes.
I went though, but I
Okay.
went to a place called dang, what the heck was its name? I have a picture of it.
Was it
second?
Giordano's deep dish pizza?
No.
Was it McDonald's?
Burger King?
Whoop-dee.
Yeah, I went to this crazy place called Burger King.
Right,
And,
exactly. Chicago-style
and-
fries.
Yeah.
Rico Benes.
Rico
Oh,
Bennett.
okay.
Rico Benes. and
Rico Suave.
If
Do
you
know
ever
this-
have a
do you know this
chance-
place, Jason?
I saw it, but I didn't. I didn't
If
go in
you
there.
ever have a chance, go to
Oh,
Rico
wow.
Benes.
We're
Yes.
looking at a photo here.
I walked right past it. I didn't go in it, but I
Wow.
walked
You
right
didn't
past
go
it.
in. Well, you missed
No.
out because
Well,
as,
damn, you tell me now.
As the sign
Best
says,
sandwich.
USA Today awarded it the best sandwich in the world.
Wow, they were
by
real.
their sandwich reviewer. And this guy,
Wow.
as he says,
That's a good-looking
I
sandwich.
love this. Actually, this is a really good interview. He says, or a paragraph. He says, the next paragraph of this post contains a bold and speculative claim about a sandwich, but I need you to understand that it is not an unresearched one. I worked in a deli making sandwiches for 3 years. My last job, I regularly wrote sandwich reviews, and I have traveled to 42 states and 20 countries and eaten sandwiches in most of them. I know sandwiches, I promise. And then he gave this place the best sandwich in the world. And I'll tell you what, it was a good sandwich, man.
Was it?
It was really good.
That looks good. It's making me hungry right now.
Yeah, his place is awesome. It's super local. So you walk through some pretty, I would say, not the friendliest types of places. But once you get in, though, it's all families. It was fun. But what you do is you have to walk underneath this bridge. And after you get to the other side of this bridge, things get a little bit sketchy.
Dicey.
little
A bit
sketchy.
dicey, yeah. So, yeah, but that was good. So I was in Chicago for a week. I did that. I also ate at a classic Harold's Chicken, and I can tell you that Harold's Chicken is famous.
Did you catch a baseball game there?
I wish, man. I wish.
Yeah.
I was stuck in the McCormick Hall doing convention center.
Oh, okay.
At the time. But yeah, but it was good. It was a pretty decent show. We got featured in 2 magazines while we were there. Which was pretty
cool. Cool. Playboy and Penthouse?
Yeah.
Hustler. Come on.
Hustler eats.
Isn't Penthouse defunct now? Are they still going?
I don't know.
I don't know. I could cancel my subscription.
Not that I would know.
when
Yeah,
I
as I
was
said, I think
18.
I'm still getting billed for it. So, yeah. So, anyways,
You know,
that was fun. That's kind of what I've been up to.
That's what I like about you is you like to go and you'll do that. You'll go into the kind of the I don't know if I call it off road, but kind of.
Yeah, I will tell you actually. I'll tell you about Harold's Chicken really quick. I went to this place called Harold's Chicken. I was just looking for a place, and it looked very local. I didn't know before I went the story. And I went in, and it was good chicken. But what I thought was interesting is let me find a picture of inside of Harold's Chicken here. What I'm going to show you is the entire restaurant. So it's
Was
not
it like a
nice.
closet or something?
You remember this was a
Size of the
podcast, right?
yeah.
He's gonna show us.
This is the restaurant right here.
Okay, look it up, folks. On the
always.
he'll
It's
post
like a
a picture.
walk-up window that looks
Yeah.
like a
Yep.
taco truck.
Okay,
But I
dumb
need you to
question time. Is that
yeah.
outside or inside?
That's inside.
That's
You
inside.
walk in, it's just that.
It looks like it's outside.
But I need you to understand.
Yeah, it does.
Those windows are this thick.
Bulletproof.
And those
Wow.
see those little like
Resistant.
cones. There's these cones made out of more bulletproof. So as you take an order, you have to shout because they can't hear you through the
Yeah.
glass.
I want some chicken.
So I looked up Harold's Chicken after I went here because I was like Harold's Chicken number 71. I looked it up. There's about 50 of them only in the south side of Chicago. It was started by Harold, and there's a rule: every Harold's Chicken has to have bulletproof glass and sell this chicken. And it's been like that since
Why?
the 50s. Because
Why
it's-
bulletproof glass?
because it's
Isn't it-
dangerous.
Is it a bad part of town?
It's all the south side. So the south side can be
So-
pretty sketchy.
So those are the rules. You have to. I thought maybe it's because the chicken's so good.
Is a
People will
chicken
literally
dangerous? Yeah.
bust through the window to
but
get the
it's pretty
chicken.
incredible though because it's very hyper local. Like this is where the local people eat. It's in
Wow.
the black part of town.
Yeah.
So but when I was in there it was great. It was just like
You guys, I mean, Chicago's got like every weekend they've got crazy amounts of like people dying
like 50
from
people
and
die.
gunshot
Didn't have like
wounds
50
and-
people get shot.
Yeah,
on
like
Memorial
every
Day or
weekend.
something.
You guys are brave, man.
Yeah,
I
this
don't-
place was legit.
So, Max, question for you. When you go to order your food, do you actually have to stick your mouth right into that little hole there? To
the
place
guy
order?
does on the other side. The guy does on the other side because you can't
Really?
hear
Like,
anything. Yeah.
I'd like a chicken, please.
And when you make and the other
Extra
rule
wings.
is if you're starting a Harold's Chicken, the rule is you have to do it fresh. When you order your chicken,
Yeah.
they batter it and fry it fresh. I mean, it's
Wow.
like
Nice.
legit like fried chicken. It's awesome.
So it's his own recipe there, like the Colonel Sanders, but he's
Yeah.
got his own Harold's.
and it's killer, man.
Secret
So
recipe.
That was kind
Can
of what
we
I was
start one
Hold
here?
up a chicken by the neck. Is that
There's
the
one
you
in
want?
Vegas apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
And it has that bulletproof glass too?
I don't know.
I just want to start one to put the bulletproof glass in.
I know. So that's what I've been up to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, but you know what? There's some pretty interesting stuff. We're gonna do a little segment called The Cast
Uh-oh.
Reads the Headlines. All right, Marty, here you go.
All
There's a
right, what do we
big one.
got? Let's see.
What
The
is
Clovis Roundup. Clovis City Council votes against backyard chickens.
No, say it ain't so, Marty. Say it ain't so.
It is so.
I guess we're not opening a Harold's there. There's no chicken.
Right, the topic, of course, was if chickens were allowed to be owned as pets within city limits of Clovis. A topic that was first brought up before the city council back in 2020.
So they really in Clovis have said that
Yeah.
you can't have chickens?
Yeah, I don't get
Well,
this.
okay, it depends on where you live, really. If you live in, like, in some areas, because I know people have chickens. And
Across
if
the
there's,
street, they have chickens.
yeah, if there's
They're always
zoned
in my
right,
yard.
they could have
Is that
chickens.
Clovis? Considered Clovis?
I think it's technically
don't know.
Fresno. I'm technically in Fresno.
And a lot,
Yeah.
just you have to be zoned right for chickens, and that people wanted chickens. Because if you have chickens, it's a great thing. To where if everyone had chickens, you would basically destroy the egg production people.
Oh, right.
That industry would go away, and also it
You'd
would
be
cut back.
self-sufficient.
It would cut back on landfills because everyone would get their table scraps and feed them to the chickens.
Right.
So other countries have done this where they offered people, you could have 3 chickens. They come and get the chicken, and they discovered that their landfill waste basically, is drastically
Diminished.
reduced because everyone's feeding all their, kitchen scraps to the chickens.
Same thing with goats and pigs.
Yeah, and
That's
they're
a big
laying
one.
eggs, and you
And
go
they
out and you get the eggs, and you don't have.
And then you have the chicken fertilize. The chicken can fertilize your flower beds and stuff. The chicken poop.
Yeah,
can
and they
use that for
like
fertilizer.
scratch and they move, so
They're good for composting them. So like
they get rid of bugs.
Yeah, they get rid of snails.
Yeah.
They're a great
So
pest
I think
control.
that's why I was upset when everyone, because I was thinking about getting chickens.
Yeah. This is a big thing that I've thought about is like if everybody, we all just, like everybody has yards, right? Even a small yard.
Yeah.
And I would say the majority of people have no food bearing or fruit bearing.
That's correct.
I'm like, if everybody imagine my neighborhood, there's probably, I don't know, I'm bad at this, 200 homes in this neighborhood. If everybody in their backyard had 2 trees or 2 bushes of different things. Some people were growing tomatoes, some people were growing apples, some people were growing lemons, some people were growing watermelons.
Sure.
Imagine how much the abundance of food that would be
Yeah.
coming out of this neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah.
And every Friday or whatever, we could walk out and say, here's all of our stuff, and we just swapped food.
Yeah,
Every
there you go.
neighborhood
Do you
did
remember
that.
the one guy we had on the show who dug
Craig
up his
Sharp?
backyard? Yeah,
Yeah.
dug up his backyard, planted a garden because he thought grass was just stupid.
Yeah.
So he did that, and then he wanted to do it with his front yard too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
I
good
keep
idea.
trying to convince my wife of that, but she goes, "No, I want the grass area."
But see, that's the thing too. They even have don't they have city ordinances against like doing gardens in their front yard and stuff now
Yep.
too?
Yeah.
So like
Yep.
you can't grow food. Like there's people who say you can kind of hide it, like you can hide a garden in your front yard where it looks like landscaping and
Yes.
not. But why? Why can't you grow food
Is that-
in your
gardening
front yard?
ninja.
Well, I'll tell you why. Yes, because they don't. Same thing. Power, right? Like
Yeah.
it's the same reason why we can't collect freaking water from our roofs
When it rains.
It's like, well, if you start doing that, it's the same thing why we can't have fireplaces or we can't. It's like,
That's why
eventually you
you
rely on it.
can't build a nuclear power plant in your backyard.
Hey, not exactly. They
Yeah.
don't let you build.
Yeah.
nuclear
Once you
so
have
they-
your own power supply.
So that's interesting you say that, Eric, because my wife and her mother started a garden in our front yard.
yeah. I
and they
remember
got
that, yeah.
you've seen it when
Yeah,
you
I've
drive
seen
up
it.
to my house. We have one of those wooden terraced, planters where you
planter boxes,
Yeah,
yeah.
the planter boxes. Yeah, and one is low, the other one's medium, the other one's high. And so my wife and her mother planted zucchini, strawberries and cucumbers and a variety of other wonderful vegetables there. And so I'm wondering now, did my wife and her mother consult with their proper city councilman and
broke the
representative?
law.
Did they break the law? So it makes me
breaking
wonder.
the law, breaking the law.
This article
Yeah.
is really interesting too, because it says that the city council voted 4-1.
Yeah. That
They
shocked
said-
me. That shocked me.
Right? They said that it added a burden to both animal control and police.
Oh,
How is that a burden to
ridiculous.
police?
For they
because
had
people's
in a
crazy
year,
chickens in
because
their
in
yard.
1 year they had 37. But think about this: 37
yeah.
chicken-related incidents in a year. Like
Chicken-related incidents. I love that.
Wait a minute. But over what, 5,000 total incidences? What was the amount of total though? They had 37. Where does it say that? Where does it say that?
total of 37 times chicken-related incidents.
Okay, but this may have been another story I was looking at. There was
There are
like
more murders than that.
there
in
was like
Fresno.
huge, that was like
In
the
one day.
smallest percentage of total incident for animal control.
Oh,
so
it's like nothing.
out of I can't remember. I wish I could find it in the
I would
story.
rather have a chicken incident than a pit bull incident.
But like,
Very true.
here's my biggest issue with this is we had just came out of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Where these city officials were telling everybody to sit in your home, don't go out, right?
Do nothing.
Do nothing.
put a diaper on your face.
Yes, put a
Yep.
diaper on your face. And you'd go to, do you guys remember the whole egg situation during this time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
There was no
Yes.
eggs. These people know,
Yeah.
and these are the very same people. The World Health Organization is saying a deadlier, bigger one's coming. Everybody,
I'm
Like, that's their
excited
big
for this
thing.
one.
I'm still waiting.
Meanwhile, they're saying you can't have your own chickens. You can't have a freaking garden. I'm like, sweet. Question: do you want us to go get sick at the grocery store? Yes. I'm very confused
Yeah.
about be consistent. If you're going to say that it's going to get dangerous and you shouldn't go out, then shouldn't they be saying, hey, good, responsible council people, shouldn't they be saying, hey, guys, just in case something happens again, you should be self-sustainable. Start getting chickens. Start growing food. They're doing
Right.
the opposite. They even say, they acknowledge the decision was taking a part of the Clovis way of life away from residents, though they still do not see it good for the community. Like, how about you go screw yourself, city council?
Yeah,
Can you say double standard?
Yeah, could I follow the money and see who has friends in the chicken egg industry?
And the only one who voted against it was Mayor Pro Tem Vong Manatua. So thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Well, the thing too, and it was another
Maybe
story. I
not,
wish I
sir.
could pull up. I was trying to look for the other story that I looked about this. Now, they also made the comment that, these city council were making the comment, well, it could be diseases. And here's the other thing I'm getting sick of. I'm getting sick of people telling us what could be. They always tell us, they always vote no on things, but tell us that, well, there could be diseases. Not that they've ever had a huge chicken salmonella outbreak or anything, right?
Not that they have
But
any
they're saying
scientific background.
Yeah,
Right.
they could be. Yeah, exactly. Where's the science? Let's
Yeah,
base
they
this
don't
on the
have
science. Yeah, chickens, I think, are awesome. From what I understand, I've never had them myself, but they're supposedly really awesome to have. I mean, they're a great, sustainable
They're fairly docile.
animal.
They're fairly docile.
I know
aren't
people
Yeah.
who have chickens. They're a bit of a pain in the ass because,
Oh, okay.
skunks will dig into your chicken cage and kill them all. Everything kills a chicken. During
Well,
the
yeah.
summer, you can't let them get too hot.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
You got to put them in their little house at night. So it's a lot of work. But if you're willing to accept that work, you're not going to let them run wild in your
And what
neighbor's
they
yard.
used to do
You'll
is
take care
if
of
you
them.
wanted chickens, you would go to your neighbors. Like there's a certain amount you would have to go, in a certain radius, and you would say, is it okay if I have them? And if they all sign off, you were able to get them.
Yeah.
My neighbor across the street here has chickens, and I've never been asked if it's okay. But they're always in my front yard.
Should we get
checking
on the
out
mobile
worms and
mic?
Stuff. It's hilarious, and I'm always like, I didn't know what was going on for the longest time. There was always this chicken like walking around. I'm like, somebody's chicken, and then I realized that there was more chickens, and then I realized they were from across the street. It made sense. But I thought this was interesting. You know what? This is another article. I typed in Clovis says no to chickens. And Clovis, New Mexico also says no to chickens.
Whoa.
This year.
City?
Is this a Clovis thing?
Wow.
Freaking unreal.
Oh my God.
Okay.
They say no because they say chickens can attract foxes, and snakes would come into town for the eggs.
Snakes are good to have around
Oh
too,
my God.
though.
So snakes are going to be up on the mountain saying, hey,
Exactly.
they have eggs down there.
It's so dumb.
Let's slither on down all the way to Fresno and get some eggs.
As if
Yeah.
all the other birds, by the way, that are laying eggs
Yeah.
all over the freaking world.
But these
Yeah.
are chickens.
I'm really upset I can't
Stupid,
find that.
man.
Let's see. I wanted to find that though. That was a good. Let me see. I'm looking at 4-1. Da 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 da.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a lot of sand in New Mexico, i.e. a desert? So you'd
That's
figure
so
that
dumb,
a desert
man.
would be an ideal location for a chicken to go out there and peck the ground and do all
Yes.
that other stuff, right?
I like this headline, guys. Switching gears here.
Oh, whoops. That was a nasty fall, Joe.
Here it is. This is my favorite. Biden is, quote, fine after
Oh, thank
falling at the U.S. Air Force Academy graduation ceremony. He's not great. He's fine.
He tore his underwear, pooped his pants, but he's good.
He walked away, but I let the very fact that this has to be a headline.
Yeah.
Biden walked away unassisted once he returned to his feet.
Oh, unassisted at that point.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Thank God. Whew,
Unassisted.
that's good.
Well,
Could've broke a hip.
Sorry. You know what? Before we jump
Feel
into
bad
that
for the
story,
guy.
I
Gotta
did
get
find
him.
it here. It just says that, and this is from Fresno Land, talking about the chickens. It says
Fresno Land?
They in the presentation they were showing. The animal response team, they're talking about it's going to be such a burden on the animal response team, right?
Yeah.
The animal response team receives about 5,000 calls annually, of which 37 pertain to chickens. And then they said that they had limited staff to manage the calls. So they're basing it on you can't have chickens because you get 37 calls out of 5,000 and you don't have enough staff. This is that's ridiculous.
That's unreal.
Yeah, sorry to get you off, but going
You're
back.
fake news.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Sorry to get you off.
Sorry to get you off, Biden.
You don't have to be sorry
I'm sorry to get you
whenever
off,
you're-
Biden.
Yeah. You know you like being on them.
Yeah,
But,
but
news.
going back to Biden, this is happening so often now that it's not even news anymore. It's like,
As-
Biden falls. Oh, again.
I just want to go
Whoops.
back. That's less than 1% of calls are about chickens.
Oh, we're the chickens
I
again.
just want to get back to that's 0.74%.
You know what's going to
math
happen?
genius.
That's an increase from 0.5.
People are going to listen to this and get so confused. They're going to say, Biden said no to chickens.
Biden hates
he
chickens.
falls.
He hates chickens. Oh golly. What the hell? Is
What is this?
Fresno
More
Land?
police, more parks, more trash rate increases.
No, but what is this? What's Fresno Land?
I know. What is
Fresno Land, I think, is part of Fresno.
Well, yeah.
Part of Fresno Bee. Excuse me.
No. So Fresno Land is it's a website that's devoted to doing a lot of community-based and fact-based journalism. So they report on a lot of political and neighbor stories that are relevant to not only politically but socially, and basically things and topics that affect the citizens of the city and county of Fresno is what they mostly report on.
But aren't they also owned by like the Fresno Bee bought them or something? Weren't they like an independent deal and then the Fresno Bee bought them? Or am I
that
wrong on
I
that?
cannot confirm nor deny, so I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm
well,
not sure on that.
I feel more comfortable now that I know that they're not just about diversity or equity, but also inclusion.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Feel better.
Everything is about DEI.
Everything. Literally everything.
You know, it's funny. People would say that. Are those companies DEI? I thought they were talking about the outdoor store. I was getting confused with REI.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say REI for a second there, Eric.
And now it's DEI.
Oh, God almighty.
Yeah, Fresno Land. So I think they were like an independent, and I think
they are
they
independent,
might have got
yeah.
bought by the Fresno Bee, where they're still kind of off an offshoot, but they're anyway.
Gotcha. So this episode's flying by, but I do want to get into. We have a lot of stuff we want to get into, but we want to talk about Bitwise. I don't think we have time.
We'll do it for the next one. Let's.
I'd like to talk about this if you don't mind. Is this okay?
What is this one?
This is actually this story makes me sad. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
The story's really
Oh,
upsetting
yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
So there's a
chaps
restaurant
my
called
hide.
Tasty Thai. It's off of Belmont and First. And apparently some online rumors started that they were abusing dogs, torturing dogs, and serving dog meat. And I don't know how big, but apparently this got out of control. Apparently it was going all over the internet. I didn't see these.
Blew up on social media.
Did it? Yeah.
Big time.
Really?
Yes.
So it was like, do not eat here. This place steals dogs and eats them. Another said, are you seriously torturing and killing dogs in the States to feed your customers? People were calling them and telling them to go back to their country. Like, it was pretty...
Now, wait a minute. Are they in Fresno or are they in Clovis?
They're in Fresno.
Oh, I was going to say, maybe they're not allowed to have chicken, so they have to serve
They had
dogs.
to serve dogs.
Or they could be like the other place and serve rat.
Ratatouille,
Yeah, so this story originally came out on a May 19th that this happened.
Okay.
And I'm like, that really sucks. I thought to myself, okay, well, they're going to get through this.
Yeah.
It'll blow over. No, May 31st, they
No.
closed their doors, man. They had to close up because...
Fresno's Tasty Thai is closing permanently.
Oh, that's
the
sad.
problem was people
Wow, it's a
posted
headline.
videos of a dog tied up without water nearby their restaurants.
Was this somebody's house?
See, I don't know the story. I don't know if it was their dog.
Now, Max, wasn't the restaurant also vandalized, which precipitated them actually closing it?
That's what it says, yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, so it got pretty rough, which I feel really that's terrible, right? Like, these poor guys just want to open a restaurant, and I'm sure
Right.
it sounds like they're like first generation from Thailand. I'm sure their food is bomb.
Yeah.
Thai food's like my favorite. Laotian foods is the best. So, kind of that's a really sad story. But it did say that they're thinking about. Looking at some other options to open again with a fresh start. And I said, you know what? That's actually better because that way you won't be off Belmont and First
Right.
in the first
Yeah.
place. And maybe
Do they
you'll
have
actually
bulletproof
gain
glass in that
I
place?
see what happened. See, they were next to, for those of you who are listening, their building is like, it shares a fence with a
Shabby little building.
shabby house is a good way to say
Shabby
Bars
chic?
on the window.
Is it shabby chic?
A little shanty.
it. It looks really. I mean, it's.
So-
The front
rough.
of this house.
That's rough.
Has
Yeah.
Modelo boxes and all this crap everywhere. So there was a dog tied up here.
So the dog tied at the house,
Had
and the
nothing-
ressrestaurant gets blamed.
had nothing to do with the restaurant. Yeah, nothing to do with the restaurant. So that's
Wow,
that's
crazy.
a huge bummer.
Well, yeah. Hopefully they'll get they might get a good place because Bitwise might have some empty buildings.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
true.
they might actually
Whoa.
move in there.
Whoa.
Extremely hot take coming in.
That's gonna be that's gonna be for our next show.
Ouch.
Yeah, let's save Bitwise for next
Yeah,
show.
you
But
bet.
speaking of hot takes, I have one for you.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I think this is probably a good 12-minute conversation.
All right.
So I started watching Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't like it, man.
You didn't like it?
No, Bree and I are like
Okay,
first
wait.
episode of the second season, and we're just not gonna watch.
You're out of it.
anymore.
You got to
Yeah,
lower
you're
your
out of it.
expectations a lot.
It's
Yeah.
not
You'll
a good.
enjoy it.
It's not. It's very boring.
So, yeah.
First episode was good. I enjoyed it, and then every episode after that was just like this episodic.
He's just like walking through the desert.
Well, I don't
Trying to
even
go
mind
somewhere.
that. It
Okay.
was just like this. Like it was just like one episode was the one where he meets the wrestling girl or whatever, the fighter.
Yeah.
And it was like
Cara
this
Dune.
weird episode with this random city that was getting attacked by people, and it was kind of
What's
like
the name of the city? Do you know?
Mandalore.
Man,
they did
no,
they
not
did
Mandalore.
like this whole montage, like this super cheesy montage of them
Yeah.
teaching like farmers how to use swords.
Oh,
and
that was
stuff.
the one where they're on like another. It's almost like they're on another planet.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
when they fought
with
that
the,
that
Imperial
little walker.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
chicken walker. Yeah.
Chicken walker, yeah.
Not that
ATS.
good. And then the
That was
first
kinda
episode
cheesy.
is super cheesy. First episode
Yeah.
of the second season with the guy who's wearing Boba Fett's outfit.
Yeah.
Not a good
sheriff.
episode, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're done. I know
You
it's
guys are
tough. I
done?
know you guys aren't. I know.
You're not
I
gonna
know
miss. You're not gonna miss much because the third season doesn't get any
Everybody
better.
talked so highly of it. I was all excited, and it was just kind of like.
Like I said, you got to lower your expectations, and it's okay.
Here's the weird thing about The Mandalorian. The best Mandalorian episodes were actually in Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but they
Right.
had, we told you this before, I think we
Yeah.
explained it, where you had
Yeah.
2 episodes where it was like The Mandalorian. For some reason, they love to do this with the Star Wars series, TV series. They love to, in the middle of their seasons of one show, they bring in characters from another and just focus on
Well,
that.
because they want
It's
you to go
like-
watch the other show.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you don't see it, like
Right.
for you, we had to explain how did the baby Grogu guy come back
Oh,
to
yeah.
how did Baby Yoda get back to the Mandalorian? Because if you didn't watch, the other one, you're like, wait, what's going on here? If you didn't watch Boba Fett.
When are you supposed to watch Boba Fett? After season 1?
Yeah, they came in line. So it was after season 2, right?
After season 2,
Boba Fett came in, and then in the middle of Boba Fett, they had 2 really good Mandalorian episodes, probably the best Mandalorian episodes I've ever seen.
So that's it's literally while you're watching. But
Yeah, while you're watching Boba Fett, all of a sudden it's just
Yeah.
The Mandalorian, and the whole two shows are The Mandalorian.
Interesting.
The middle of the episodes, and then it goes back to, and then he like he's in with Boba Fett. He goes to where Boba Fett's at, and then they have then they finish out the.
yeah,
And their
I don't-
idea of fighting is standing in the middle of the street shooting at people with no cover, just
Yeah.
shooting at
Just
people.
shooting
It's
at
like
people.
old
From the
Western
middle of the
style.
street.
Old
Yeah,
Western.
it's like,
And that's
oh
what I
my
like.
God.
The first episode to me felt like a Western. And I really liked that.
Yeah, it was a good feel.
I really liked that first episode. It was just kind
Like a
of
space western.
Yeah, it was a classic. Everything
A
was
space
a Western.
cowboy.
He was just this guy.
Some call me the
this
gangster
kind
of love.
He was a loner on a mission,
mission.
who just got put on this mission to save this thing. And it was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is cool. And it was very like, there was dirt and sand, and everything was very westerny.
Well, you're
And then
seeing
it
new
was
characters.
like, I
you're
don't
kind of
know
seeing
what's going on here.
familiar stuff, but you're seeing these new characters you haven't seen, right? It's
Yeah.
like familiar kind of surroundings, but then there's these new characters like, oh, what's going on? This is interesting. What's he doing? He's a bounty hunter. All right, what's going to happen? Here's what they did. They screwed up. They brought this new character, the Mandalorian. It should have actually been Boba Fett in that character from the beginning. It shouldn't have been the Mandalorian.
Right.
But they did whatever they did. But then they ruined Boba Fett. Now they've ruined the Mandalorian. Wait, you should watch season 3. You get Jack Black and Lizzo in season 3 of the Mandalorian, and I'm not
Why?
joking.
Eric
That's
and I,
real?
Eric and I
Yes,
discussed.
that is real.
Yes, we discussed this ad nauseum on Pardon the Intermission, and we are still scratching our heads as to why Jack Black and Lizzo
they
were
just-
featured as main cast members,
As like characters. They're
as
not
characters.
Yeah,
just
they're in like 2
Yes.
episodes. I think it's 2 episodes.
No,
right?
just one
Just
episode.
one episode.
Just one
yeah.
episode. Yeah. It was the fourth to last episode.
It's like they just got to pull in, like Jack Black's not a big star, but they got to pull in these stars, to
Yeah.
throw into this thing. It's like, you don't need this. And the episodes were crappy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was kind of disappointed because I
And
was
then
like,
they've turned-
really looking forward to the show.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they've turned the baby Grogu into this like little flying, circus performer. Like he just flies
yeah.
around in people's arms now and lands in their arms.
That's
and they
another
go,
thing.
"Oh,
Like
so
he doesn't
cute."
really even have a character or a point. That's the other
not
issue.
anymore. He doesn't.
No.
Nope.
That's the other issue I have with the show. It's like it started off with like, okay, we're going to learn about him. We're going to do this. It's going to be this big
Yeah.
thing.
And then his
And
character never developed.
there's nothing.
No.
He's literally just a
cute,
prop.
Cute factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a prop.
Yeah.
He's a cute factor
Yeah.
prop.
He's
yeah.
basically a way to sell some souvenirs,
Yeah,
some
that's what it
merchandise.
is. I just felt. So I just
Yeah.
kind of feel ripped off by this show, and I don't know.
Yeah, like
Well,
you wasted your time.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
and then to add insult to injury here, Johnny, he ends up propagating an IG-88 bounty hunter droid, and so he's walking around in a bounty hunter droid
Oh,
about
in season
about
3.
as stiff as a popsicle stick, and he's just like hits a
Pressing
little
a
button that
button
says
that
no.
says, no.
No.
Okay, so,
I'm
to
like,
explain
that's
it-
very annoying.
Yes.
No.
To explain To explain it here, remember that droid that was like that bounty hunter droid that was after Grogu
I
too?
like the bounty hunter droid.
Okay.
IG something or other.
So in season 3, they take the remains of that thing and they build a little compartment where Grogu can sit in there and operate it and walk it like a person.
Yeah.
So now he's walking around in his battle droid, and like he's saying, he has a little button where he can hit no and yes, and that's how he communicates. And he's
Why would they do that?
because they're trying to make it cute, and they want to.
Because that way
sell
you
droid
could sell the Grogu
toys.
toy in a droid.
Yes,
Right.
Clever marketing.
Just like a lot of times with their action
Okay.
figures for stormtroopers, they'll just like repaint them and say it's a different trooper. Then do a little different paint job. Oh, say it's a leader of these
Chrome,
other troopers.
do it chrome, and then you
Yeah, and I say, oh my
Okay.
God, you're ripping me off.
Let me ask you this,
That's
Mr.
rough.
Mr. Knobs, Mr.
Yeah,
Knobs.
yeah,
Any
yeah.
other? Is there any other? Have you watched any other Disney Plus shows, or is this kind of mainly the only of the new series type stuff? Is this the only one?
No, I watched the Hawkeye show.
What did you think of that?
That was pretty good.
It was good till the end.
That was a good Christmas feel show. Yeah.
In the end, it got a little goofy.
Yeah, I don't even. Honestly, to be fair, I don't remember.
I don't know. It's like they're slinging arrows at like 50,000 bad guys coming at them.
Oh yeah, it felt cheesy. It felt like
they're in like an ice skating rink and they're skating around.
But it felt to me like I remember I was watching it and I thought, you know what, this is a good family show.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, if I had like kids, I could feel comfortable watching. This with
Do
my
you
kids.
remember in that Hawkeye show they did that Rogers musical? You remember that? In the beginning, he's going to watch that musical.
Yep.
Do you know that they're actually doing that down at Disneyland? They're putting it in the Hyperion Theater. You can go see the Rogers musical.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool to see. I kind of want to see that.
Yeah. I heard Thor is being played, but I gotta stop. I'll be quiet. Okay. This is not the time, Max.
No way.
You're like, man, I would have auditioned for that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Dang, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed in The Mandalorian, just to finish it out for season 3. I will not be returning to The Mandalorian. I'll tell you one thing. If you want to watch a good show, season 1, give this a try. Give it a try. Did you ever watch Rogue One?
I like. Oh, that's what I saw. Yes, I liked Rogue One. It's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Okay.
I've been told Oregon or Arg.
Yeah, that's
Andor.
good.
Andor.
is really
Watch
good.
Andor. Okay, get off The Mandalorian and hop on Andor.
Because Andor is more for adults.
Yeah,
That's what
watch
I've been
that,
told.
and it
Okay.
kind of doesn't have this whole feel necessarily. It does a couple of wonky things in the season, but it's not. The show itself is really good.
Yeah, and it builds. It's a mystery, and it keeps building on itself. And
Yeah.
more
And you
character
don't really need to
development.
know anything else, right? It's on its own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a standalone.
Yeah, I like that. I really liked Rogue One. That was one of my favorite. Actually,
Yeah, so it's that character and Andor,
Cassian Andor.
Cassian Andor. Yeah, thank you from. So that would be a good one to do.
I'll watch that.
Yeah,
I don't need
that's
to
quality.
know the other stuff, right?
No,
No.
it's self-explanatory.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
really good. It's really good.
I'll do that. I like that quite a bit. Like that.
But because we're not going to get a season 2 now, though, because of writer's strike.
Right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Are they still going? I haven't heard much about it. It's got
Right.
kind of quiet.
Writer's strike is still going on. From what I've read and heard, they're in negotiations right now, but take that for what it's worth. Negotiations could mean they're either at the start, the middle, or the end, or not even close. I mean, in Hollywood, it's literally a by-the-minute industry. So, I mean, there have been writer strikes that have lasted as long as 6 months. Some have lasted as long as just 3 days.
Let me ask you this:
So-
is
Here
anybody
is footage from today of my buddy Nelson.
of the
what
writer's
gives
strike?
us,
Oh, is Nelson out there?
He's the one in the orange.
one with the sign?
Organizing the group.
that him?
It's him.
Oh my gosh!
It's him. So
Nice.
yeah, they're still going. They're going strong.
You know, it's funny because I heard about it in the news like so much, and now I hardly ever hear anything about it. It's like I guess it's
You know
not a
what
top news story.
happened? I don't know if this is I don't know.
So we're
Tough
going to get a
one.
lot of reality TV now. I hate
I
reality
feel
TV.
what I could be wrong, but there's so much. I think the reason is there's so much stuff already made right now that people like haven't noticed.
That something's missing.
Yeah.
Because we don't. It's not like we're in the middle of. We don't watch shows like we used to.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my gosh, the next episode just didn't come on.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I got 20 seasons of I got 20 seasons of CSI to catch up on. You know, in the
Right,
middle of-
right.
Or
you have so much crap, and you're just like, oh, I'll just watch the next thing.
there's just so much new junk that people are going to watch the old stuff because it's better.
There's so much stuff.
I was
going
going to ask you this: has anybody missed the late night TV shows?
Nobody's.
No, I never watched them.
Nobody's watched them, man. Nobody watches those shows, man.
No.
That's the thing. Their ratings were bad in the first place.
And nobody's missing Kimmel. Nobody's missing what's the other guy?
I am definitely not missing Jimmy Kimmel. Good
Those are
riddance.
that's
Yeah.
kind of an old person thing, you know.
Yeah, who
like
watches
our parents
that?
used to do that. Watch the Late Show, you know.
Although I do hear Dave Rubin. He said the other day he watches old Carson episodes.
Carson
I
was
would
classic,
do that.
yeah.
That's fair.
I would go and watch old Carson
Like
episodes.
Don Rickles on Clark.
Oh,
or
those are
Carson. Oh, my God.
classic.
The Dick
I'm
Cavett
a-
show.
Dick
Yeah.
Cavett,
Dick
yeah.
Cavett, yeah.
I'm a big Conan fan, so I like old Conan. It's a big one. I also like
It's like the Barbarian.
Norm Macdonald. He had a show on Netflix.
Yeah.
He had the Norm show. I love that show.
I used to like
Freaking
Craig
love that
Ferguson
show.
for a while, and then Craig Ferguson, it just seemed like kind of fell off the map after that. He was always come
I don't
on
know.
after Letterman.
He
so-
seemed like he was good. He took the after Letterman. He took the
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien spot, right? Was it Conan O'Brien?
he
or-
took the Conan O'Brien spot after Conan jumped networks and went
Yeah.
to NBC, I think.
and he seemed good in the beginning too. I don't know. Yeah, and then it just seemed like he just
Fell off the rope, yeah.
yeah.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
Nobody's missing. What's that guy's name? Corden.
James Corden. Nobody likes that guy, man.
Singing in the car. What did they have? The singing.
Oh
Singing in
yeah,
the car.
karaoke with friends. Or
car
something
karaoke.
Like that.
Yeah. or
That
something like
guy's
that.
that guy's like an a-hole in real life. He is. You know the story about him?
No. What?
Oh.
There's like a story that people were filming him on a plane. It's like
Yeah.
got out of it was like a year ago or something. He was on a plane in like first class, like sitting down with like his eye shade on.
Yeah.
And next to him was this poor lady with a baby that was just screaming like the whole time, and she was trying to deal with it. And he actually didn't say anything, but people are grabbing like clips of him being like, "This is so weird. He's actually like not doing. He's not reacting. He's not
Yeah.
helping. Nothing." It was his wife and child, man.
No.
Yeah. He's just like apparently an a-hole that does it.
Oh, my
God. Like, he wasn't helping her?
Eye shades on.
Wow.
Like she wasn't there.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
But I mean, that's what you have to expect.
Well, he has to get his beauty rest for the next show, right? You got to be
Right.
refreshed.
So he used to be on a British show called Gavin and Stacey, and he was good in that.
Oh, really?
I liked him in
Sick.
Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was really fun. He also won a Tony for his one-man Broadway show that apparently was really good. So I'm sure he seems talented.
Yeah.
But, a lot of these guys. It's like when I sat next to Nick Cannon on a plane, and he was like the worst person on earth.
Really?
Like the worst person on earth.
Like, what do you mean by the
shockingly.
worst? Like, just
Like
rude
I'll
or
tell
what?
you this: the stewardess would come talk to him, or the flight attendant. Apologize. Would come talk to him, and
waitress. Yeah,
he would refuse to even look at her. He would just wave her and to talk to his bodyguard.
What?
The bodyguard would say like he'd like a water,
Wow.
and he would just and he was wearing this
Why-
big fur, just a complete. It was unreal to me.
Why? This is what even if
Unreal.
I was like famous, if somehow fame fell upon me, I would not want to treat. I cannot even fathom treating people like that.
He's going to be an outstanding father to those 12 kids with 13 different women.
I know.
I'll tell you. Yeah, he will.
Why and
Great
how
role
do you treat people like that? That's amazing. You must have. I mean, you must. I don't know. Not think much of yourself. I mean,
yeah, exactly. You don't
Yeah,
think about
he's
yourself.
just
because I mean, oh my gosh, that is crazy beyond
Yep.
belief.
yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
These people
It's
are never.
crazy.
That's the sad part. You meet your heroes. That's what they say. Don't ever meet your
Yeah.
heroes, right?
It's
Because
either
you meet
gonna
them and
be
you're
great or
disappointed.
bad.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean that not only has to do with him just being famous. You have to be just kind of a downright dirtball in general, famous
Yeah.
or not to treat somebody like that.
Yeah, because
You
I
know,
hear there are
yeah.
some celebrities that are really cool and really nice. You know, to people. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. But based on what Johnny here was just telling us, I mean, it sounds like you wouldn't want to meet this guy even on the brightest, sunniest days.
No.
Yes, he would still turn a sunny day into a dark
Would
day.
you if
It
he
made
was in
me, like,
quicksand
legitimately angry.
and you
I
had a
was
rope
angry.
on the
Wow.
on firm ground? If he was in quicksand, you had a rope on firm ground. Would you be throwing it to him?
Throw both.
I would
ends
have
him.
to. I would have to get my bodyguard. I'd have to get my bodyguard to do it. Yeah,
love it.
that's what I have to do.
Here's
your
the $1 million
bodyguard.
question: would you slap No Focus Radio Hour magnets on his car?
Oh heck yeah!
Yes.
I
Get his
toss
bodyguard to
a
do it.
magnet to him while he was
There you
going
go.
down the.
Well, the band is playing.
Uh-oh.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning
Oh,
in.
my God.
Thank you to our
Thank you, thank you.
special guest. Thank you for joining us.
My
Yes.
pleasure to be here. It was fun.
Appreciate
Delighted,
it.
guys.
Yeah,
I think you might be on for our next week's
for being
episode
on.
as well, which is pretty cool.
And I'll look
Yeah.
forward to that,
Yeah,
obviously.
that'll be good.
You got to come back. We're the same clothes.
Yeah.
I promise I will.
We put super glue on the seat. He has to stay here and come
Guys,
back.
you gotta
He's not going anywhere.
You gotta listen. Next week we got a lot to talk about. We're talking about
Bitwise.
that's pretty much all I got in the show notes. We got Bitwise, we got some
green energy, more green
baby
energy.
bisons getting put to death. Lots of fun, cheery stuff.
Yeah.
Join us. We appreciate you.
Might be
check
some
out our link,
nuns.
nofocusradio.com.
5 stars is always the correct number of stars, folks. Buy
Tip your
us a
waitresses.
coffee. Don't forget. We love you guys out there.
And your stewardesses.
I do.
You turned us off.
With you, you can't be true. And I know just what I got to